The New York Knicks have made multiple moves, acquiring James Nnaji in the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, signing former Duke and Creighton player Alex O'Connell, and also acquiring Damion Baugh, a player who was on the team's Summer League roster. And we're going to break it all down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. And we're going to jump right into the video today because the Knicks made a lot. They've acquired a lot of guys over the last few days after the Karl-Anthony Towns trade went down. The Knicks, after trading for Towns, were down to 12 roster spots. You need 14 at the very minimum, or 15. And looking at the Knicks now, they obviously had to go out there and make some signings. Landry Shamet's on a non-guaranteed deal, but he is going to make the New York Knicks final roster. And outside of that, the Knicks are going to have to do a few interesting moves, as the team will be way too close to that second apron in order to go out there and sign a veteran to a contract. They can't sign Marcus Morris. They can't sign Chuma Okeke. All these guys have been in the NBA too long, and their veteran minimum is too high and would put the Knicks into the second apron. And we're going to go into all that, starting off with who the New York Knicks acquired in the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, James Nnaji, who, as Shams put it, the Hornets received 3 second-round draft picks, 2 from the Knicks, 1 from Minnesota, along with Daquan Jeffries, Charlie Brown, and Dwayne Washington Jr. from the New York Knicks to complete the Karl-Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo trade. And Charlotte gave the New York Knicks James Nnaji, the 31st overall pick in the 2023 draft, to finalize the trade. Now, something to mention is this is the draft rights of James Nnaji. This is not they've acquired a player who's been on the Hornets. James Nnaji has never played an NBA game before. They just have the draft rights of James Nnaji. He did not play for them last season. And honestly, guys, he probably won't be playing for the Knicks this season. And he's a guy who the Knicks are best off looking for someone as a two-way contract. James Nnaji, people liked, the front office liked, going into the draft. Not just the Knicks, a bunch of front offices. He was touted as someone with a lot of potential. And, I mean, let's just break all this down. There's so many things that happened, along with the team signing Alex O'Connell. Now, we're going to get back into James Nnaji. But just to talk about all these guys, they brought in Alex O'Connell, and they also brought in Damion Baugh to the team. Now, Baugh was on the G League team. He's technically been with the Knicks the longest, you could say. But all these guys are new players for the New York Knicks. Now, looking at Alex O'Connell, he's never played in the NBA, but he did play 5 years in college, his last season being the 2022 season, which was his best college season, putting up 12.5 points per game for Creighton after transferring out of Duke after 3 years and playing 2 years in Creighton. He's a wing. He's 6'6". He's someone who the Knicks will probably use to some degree. As it's mentioned here, the main thing from the press release is that he played college basketball. He's 25 years old. He was doing a bit of overseas basketball and stuff like that. Alex O'Connell's not going to make the Knicks' final roster, for anyone wondering, and Damion Baugh most likely will not either. Now, the press release here mentions that Baugh is a 24-year-old who has spent some time with the New York Knicks Summer League team, where he put up solid numbers of 9 points and 5.5 rebounds. That was for the South Bay Lakers. He put up 9 points and 5.5 rebounds last season, along with 3 assists. Then went into the New York Knicks Summer League and put up 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist for the Knicks. They decided to bring Baugh in, use one of their Exhibit 10 deals. Essentially, McConnell, Baugh, Nnaji are all sort of trying out for the New York Knicks' final two-way roster spot. Because here's the deal, guys. When the Knicks acquired Karl-Anthony Towns, they took in more money onto their payroll, but they had to give out more money in order to make this trade done, and it led to a lot of hoops for the Knicks to jump through. And as Fred Katz mentioned, the Knicks discovered a loophole in the collective bargaining agreement. Teams in their situation could not aggregate minimum contracts anymore, meaning you can't trade multiple players on minimum contracts together, like how the Knicks traded Daquan Jeffries and Charlie Brown and Dwayne Washington Jr. So they paid all 3 of those guys $1 above the minimum so they could trade them all to make this done. I mean, guys, Brock Aller is an absolute psychopath with the way that he works salary cap. This was the work of Brock Aller, the New York Knicks salary cap specialist, someone who Leon Rose has brought in. He's been with the Knicks Leon's entire tenure. He's been with the Knicks. According to Brock Aller's LinkedIn page, he's been with the team for 4.5 years now. The man has been excellent at salary cap situations. He managed this thing perfectly. This was a beautifully orchestrated trade for the New York Knicks to not have to fear about Karl-Anthony Towns' trade or Karl-Anthony Towns' contract when they traded for it. And also now every player, once Mikal Bridges signs this extension, every single player on the Knicks starting lineup, or their core of the top 4 guys of Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, all of them are locked up till 2028. The New York Knicks have built themselves a 4-year championship window to go out there and win an NBA Finals with a core that has no plans of going anywhere. They're going to get to build on this core together. This core is not going anywhere. They're going to get more and more comfortable with each other, and we'll see them grow together. We'll see them become this team that's a danger in the East for years and years to come. For the next half decade, this is who the Knicks are rolling with, and obviously potentially longer than that too. This is a nice team. They're not that old. Jalen Brunson's 28 years old. In 5 years, he's still just going to be 33. Primes last longer. He's not going to be at the end of his prime. Mikal Bridges, similar age. OG Anunoby, similar age. Towns a little bit older, but he's got, I'd imagine he has 6 years still left of prime basketball till he's 34 years old. Towns has stayed marginally healthy throughout his career outside the last 2 seasons. And one of those seasons, he only played 30 games, so it was really that one more than the other one. And that was not last year, I should add. That was the year prior when Naz Reid really broke out because he had more of an opportunity to. So the Knicks did a great job with all that, and because all of that happened, they cannot afford to bring in a second veteran minimum deal outside of Landry Shamet. So one of Kevin McCullar Jr., Ariel Huckporti, or Jacob Toppin is going to get signed to the team because none of them have played on an NBA contract yet, meaning it will be a low enough contract where the Knicks will not go into the second apron just barely. And because of that, we are going to see them bring in one of them. I do think it will be Ariel Huckporti with the Knicks' shortage on rim protection, with Mitchell Robinson being out till January. It makes the most sense in the right now. And Kevin McCullar Jr. is going to get his shot with the Knicks, so it could be KMJ3 also. So you got some options, and I'm really, really excited to see what they do with this. So obviously I'm going to report on it when it happens, so make sure you're subscribed. But on a second note, we're not done talking about these guys yet. Now, as we know, Fred Katz mentioned all this, but also Yossi Golzan, who's a salary cap expert, who has his own YouTube channel, so make sure to check him out also. He's definitely doing a better job than explaining this than I am. And as he said, the New York Knicks managed to increase their payroll on both the Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges trades despite being an apron team. They did this by inflating their outgoing salary required with every remaining free agent from last year. They had some form of bird rights too. Essentially, the Knicks just went out there and did some absolute crazy, crazy business. Now, on top of that, when you look at what we saw from Baugh, he's been a solid player. He's been a solid player in the G League. He will play for the Knicks G League this season. I could totally see Baugh being the one who gets the 2-way contract. I'm actually going to go out on a limb right now and say Damion Baugh is going to get a 2-way contract from the New York Knicks after they bring in Ariel Huckporti to the team. Now, again, it could be Kevin McCullar Jr., but I am predicting it's Damion Baugh who gets this final one because he's played in the G League. McConnell's been kind of in and out. Never any sort of NBA experience or G League experience, so it's tough to roll with him. And James Nnaji may as well just stay overseas over the next few seasons, so we could see that also. Now, what we have seen from James Nnaji is him playing in the EuroLeague, playing in the tournaments, and he's looked solid. Nah, I'm just kidding. He hasn't looked solid at all. I mean, the man's putting up 3 points per game. They're not bringing him on. It's not James Nnaji, guys. It's just not. There's no way to put it. It's just not him. He's not him. He's not going to be the guy who's brought onto the team. I know Knicks fans do like the idea of his potential, but I don't really see much, if I'm being honest. Now, also, just to show what Ariel Huckporti did, he put up these numbers. So he's someone who very well could get that 2-way contract. 8 points, blocked a shot per game, blocked 1.5 shots per game as a career average in his 2 years in Melbourne in the NBL. So it is something that we could see happen. I'm going to predict right now the Knicks give Ariel Huckporti a guaranteed contract, and then they go out there and also they sign Damion Baugh to that final 2-way deal. Let me know what you guys think happens down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Knicks.